the property is supposed to be bought as is. It means that there is no specific guarantee. You are buying the property as you've seen it, as it is. Yes,
Okay.
which is why it's extremely important to visit it as carefully as you can, with the help, of course, of a realtor.
Sure. And talking of rules that change quite regularly, we've got this other diagnostic called SPANC.
This one is one of our favorites, right?
Hi everyone, this is Kyela Puech, real estate in the south of France. Welcome to my YouTube channel, where today we're going to be talking to Alexandra Monsire, who is a notaire in the south of France, with whom I like to work because she brings lots of really great advice and speaks fluently English also. So welcome.
Hi, Kyela.
Thank you for coming back.
Thank you.
One of the regular questions I get is, what is achat en l'état? So the as-is thing. So what's the legal implications of that?
It is very important indeed. It means that in most situations where you have a non-professional, a non-real estate professional seller and a non-professional as a buyer too, then the property is supposed to be bought as is. It means that there is no specific guarantee. You are buying the property as you've seen it, as it is.
So as you've seen it when you visited it the first time?
Yes, which
Okay.
is why it's extremely important to visit it as carefully as you can, with the help, of course, of a realtor.
Sure. So when we talk as is, it's as per the diagnostics also. So the diagnostics are purely there to inform the buyer of the kind of health of the house, right?
Yes.
So the seller doesn't have to do any repairs.
It can be negotiated between the parties, but usually it's not what happens.
Okay.
You take the house as it is and you have all the mandatory information. So what's in the diagnostics would be very specific areas: asbestos, lead, electricity, gas, energy efficiency.
Yeah.
Mostly
Okay.
that's what it is about.
The electrics is quite a biggie, isn't it? And that can often be the element that we negotiate on if there are sort of like big, because it's quite a big post.
It is a big
rectify.
post. The thing is that this diagnostics mostly checks what's compliant or not compliant with current regulations. So most of the time, the equipment would work just fine. It's just not compliant with the latest rules.
Yeah, it's always the latest rules. That's
Absolutely.
the key, isn't it? And rules tend to change quite a lot in France.
Every 3 to 6 months, I'd say.
So we've got new rules. And talking of rules that change quite regularly, we've got this other diagnostic called SPANC.
This one is one of our favorites, right? It's when the house is equipped with a septic tank.
Right.
How lovely. Basically, it's not connected to the public sewer system.
Yeah.
Then you need to have a report done on this septic tank. The idea is to check that the equipment is not polluting the ground, the water, the underground water, basically. So yes, this one is a bit tricky, and most of the time, I would say maybe 70% of the situations, it is not compliant because the regulations evolve so often.
You can buy a house with a septic tank that is not conform.
You can.
Okay. And what's the obligation on the buyer?
The obligation on the buyer is to have the works done to make it compliant within a year after signing the final agreement.
Okay. And so does the SPANC come out and check on that?
Well, they're supposed to.
Okay.
Lately, it doesn't really happen.
Okay.
But legally, you're supposed to have it done within a year.
So correct me if I'm wrong, if you've purchased a property prior to July, I think 2022, you're not in, you can sell a property that has got a non-conform tank. But if I was to buy today a property with a septic tank that's not conform and decide to sell it in 2 or 3 years' time, because we're post-July 2022, the SPANC will not give me that report. And without that report, I can't come to you, right? Because you need to have the report from the SPANC in order to...
Yes, if you didn't make it compliant and you're trying to resell the house, then they won't agree to come and check the house to do that report. So it can be complicated. It doesn't make it impossible to sell, but it makes it a bit more difficult. What is important with that SPANC report is that you need to have it as soon as possible. And of course, it is something that you can negotiate about.
Sure.
Just go see a professional, have a quote done, then you can know how much it's going to cost you and negotiate according to that.
Sure. And ultimately, going back to our subject of buying as is, you're buying with your septic tank that's not conformed. So as soon as you become owner of that property, it is purely your responsibility, right?
Yes, it is the principle. The exception is maybe asking the seller to reduce the price or have it repaired, but it happens very rarely. The principle is you have the information, you buy as it is.
Yeah, okay, cool. Thank you for that.
Of course.